Hello everybody, welcome to episode 3 of the Yellow Show. I am Matt Turner from the Warrington Guardian. This is the one and only James Gordon, and we are here once again to talk Yellows. First of all, I must apologise for the rugby regalia. That's all.
We are open to donations of football memorabilia. It's just obviously over the years with my work in rugby, I just happen to have gathered a lot of rugby memorabilia, not so much football. So.
He has. But any donations of, don't have to be Yellows memorabilia, just
football would be good, wouldn't it? Because we've got these little ball stands, but no footballs.
Yeah, the football would be nice, just to sit
there.
Just to sit.
I have been thinking of getting a screen there.
Yeah.
You know, we could bang logos or videos or something up. We could put a clip of goals up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one for the development plan further down.
I think so. For when we take over YouTube officially, then that's
you're right.
That's one we can.
When we hit 100 subscribers, maybe that can be the
nice little treat for ourselves.
Yeah.
Nice little treat for ourselves.
It'd be nice to get to a point where if you get to millions. I mean, obviously very unlikely, but we can but dream.
We can but dream, can't we? Yeah. I mean,
you get that like silver. I've seen them, like, you get framed recognition from YouTube. That's the dream.
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? That would be lovely for our little show. But we'll never forget our roots. We'll never forget you.
Yeah.
Our loyalist, our loyal.
We love you. We love you both very much.
We do love you both very much. But here to talk Yellows again, and it's a happier show this week, isn't it? Having come off the back of a 2-1 win over Hyde, it looked like it was going to be deja vu for a bit, didn't it? From the Baseford game where they were pressing that second half.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we did. If you've not seen it already, me and Matt did a bit of live commentary on the club's official Facebook page, which may be something that we repeat maybe on a regular basis. We'll see. I think it was a similar game where obviously Warrington took the lead and then. The other team equalised, albeit Hyde equalised in the first half rather than... Well, they equalised 5 minutes before half-time, whereas Baseford equalised 5 minutes after half-time. And you're right, it went into that same pattern where you felt like Hyde were probably happy with a point, much like Baseford were the week before, and when you were worried that, like you say, it was going to repeat itself, and being brutally honest, it's actually Warrington's home form that's keeping them... That's obviously what's keeping them behind the teams above them. I know there's games in hand and it's really boxed up again now with Scarborough losing last week. She could ill afford really to drop any more points at home. So, but just kept going and ultimately got the reward in the end. Yeah,
I guess you don't want to sort of slip into that mindset though of it's all right, we've got the games in hand. Because I think if you asked anybody, guys, if you're watching, I'm sure you'll testify. You'd rather have the points on the board than the game.
I Warrington have been on both sides of it. I remember a few seasons ago, we were top of the league for a long period in the league below, and Curzon were playing catch up for a long time, and eventually they did it. Runcorn Linnets are a good example when they were in counties. They were. For a few seasons, they had points on the board. They were miles ahead, and then I think it was the year Glossop came up where they were playing they were playing every other day for the last month of the season, and managed to pit them. So I was looking at the table before. Scarborough top of the league, but they lost to Gainsborough last week, and that now means that if Gainsborough win their games in hand, so assuming that everyone wins the games in hand, I think Scarborough. Playing 20s more than anyone else. If Gainsborough win their games, and they're on level points with Scarborough. If Warrington win their games, and I think Warrington would be 2 points above both of them. If Farsley win their games in hand, I think they'd be 2 or 3 points even above that. So South Shields are another one. I think if they win their games, and they're around about where Scarborough are. So it's very tight. But then, like you say, it's all right saying win your games in hand, but you've got to win them. I don't think Warrington are in many ways, I think slipping down a little bit has probably helped them a little bit because it takes a bit of the heat off.
Yeah, I think so. I think certainly on Saturday you saw them. I don't think they were playing like a team under pressure. They certainly played with a little bit more freedom, especially attacking wise. In the first half, in particular, I mean, they were pouring forward at will, weren't they?
Well, we talked a little bit, didn't we, on the commentary about how we felt like maybe they were playing a different system because like McCref and Kirby were pushed right on, weren't they? And almost being encouraged to like go right to the end of the pitch and then come in and sort of Graham, Bowen, Dixon they were quite happy for them to sit back, which then meant the full-backs were getting down, like Adam Hughes was getting down, the left-hand side in particular quite a bit, and then obviously Garrity and Evans was sat back. So I think that's been one of the criticisms of, I mean, I think even Cards and Toby have said that the distance, sometimes the games where they get most affected is when the distance between the two midfielders and Tony Gray is too big of a gap to bridge.
I think you sort of see that you get the best out of Bowen Dixon when he sort of plays that role, because it's subtle differences, because they usually play a sort of flattish 4-4-2 with two conventional wingers. But as you said, McCreth and Jake Kirby was playing on the left. They did tuck right in, and Dixon was sort of more in a more withdrawn role. It was a sort of 4-2-3-1 system that you see higher up the leagues quite a bit these days, and he did prove to be that link between Garrity and Evans in the centre and Tony up front. I think Gray deserves a bit of credit as well, because his natural instinct is like Bowen to sort of drop off the front, but I thought he showed quite, pretty good tactical discipline to sort of fight those urges, as it were, because he did stay quite high and engaged the defenders, so Bowen could drop off, and I personally think that was Dixon's best game in a Warrington shirt. I mean, obviously, Tony Gray scored a lot of goals at non-league, so he knows where the goal is and whatnot, and maybe, I suppose, like any play, your sort of style of play changes a little bit as you get older. I think the thing with Dixon, he's a bit of an enigma, isn't he? A little bit. You can't really, you don't want to have him in a too much of a disciplined role, because then you sort of suck out his best attributes. I think the main thing for me is people just don't expect him to be as quick as he is, and whether he's actually quick or whether it's just because he's got a long stride, but he like ghosts past defenders at times when it's like looks like they've stood him up, thinking, well, I've got him here, and the next thing he's gone. Yeah, he's sort of that free and easy, languid running style, isn't it? And he is, like you say, he is deceptively quick, and a few defenders have been caught on the wrong side of that, but he was just sort of floating around. He didn't really have too much in the way of defensive responsibilities, and he was just able to sort of come where he wanted to come and pick the ball up, and he almost scored an absolute worldie of goal, didn't he? Yeah, in the first half. I think I'm still a bit. I think Warrington probably struggle playing that sort of system against the better team. I think so. I don't think they could, if they sort of at the turn of the year they go away to Scarborough and Farsley. If they turn up there playing like that, I think they'll go for a few, and I think they know that as well. Yeah, because I think you're probably looking at, you'd rather have, not what's happening with Sean Bailey, but you'd rather have him in there instead of Dixon to protect the back four against the better team, because you do feel like McCreth, he's creating chances every game. He gets to the byline, he gets balls in, creates chances for himself. Jake Kirby had a better game at the weekend, and you just sort of hoping that if they carry on doing that, as long as someone's there in the middle, do you need anybody else? Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like, if you can just get them two creating the chances, and then Tony Gray stays in the box, at least you can protect yourself. Don't forget Warrington's main success has been, being solid at the back. We commented, didn't we, how open it was at certainly the first 10-15 minutes. It was, Hyde seemed sort of very content to let them have the ball and knock it around and let them commit men forward, and they were caught on the counter attack a couple of times, and they were a little bit stretched, but that's sort of the risk you run with that approach, and I think a better team than Hyde, with the greatest respect to him, might have made more of the counter attacking chances. I'd probably agree with that, but like I say, I think I was watching the Gainsborough manager's interview after the Scarborough game, and it's like, there's a long way to go. Warrington only played 17 games, and you're just like, still 2/3 of the season left. Yeah, you've just got to get your results. It doesn't really matter. It was like Grantham the other week. It doesn't really matter. You just need to. 3 points is 3 points. No matter. At Nantwich, look at Nantwich at the weekend. They threw away 2-0 and then scored in the 90th minute, and for them to get them 2 extra points effectively just keeps them It does.
ticking over a little bit.
They don't seem to be going away, do they?
It's an interesting one, that which I don't know. I mean, I don't think that they've always been the same. Though I've never watched them and thought they were outstanding, even previous years when they've been up there. But they're just obviously one of those teams that knows, what to do. And
Sean Cook's a quality player for them, isn't he? He's I think Cards has said to me he's tried to sign him a few times and been knocked back, but he's while he's playing, I think they've always got a chance.
Yeah, we were saying about Steve Jones, who scored the winner on Saturday. He's like 42 or something, but he runs around like he's like 25. So it's interesting because you wonder. It's an interesting one because you wonder what teams. I know this sounds daft because I presume everybody does, but are they one of the teams that would rather stay at this level and go up, or are they ambitious? I honestly don't know. Do you get to that point in the season where certain teams, Baseford are up there at the moment, but I'm not sure whether they'll last the distance. But there's certainly, I think it's starting to. I think you sort of, as much as we were talking about it being competitive earlier in the season, I think you're sort of seeing maybe the top 7 or 8 teams now, like down to where Matlock are.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Whitton have got too much to do. They've got a lot of games in hand, but
they have.
I wonder now whether I'd be very surprised if any of the top 5 come from outside the current top 8 teams.
I'd agree with that. I think there is a bit of a gap starting to open up, and I say those top 8 teams are starting to establish themselves and flex their muscles a bit. I mean, we've spoken a lot. We seem to speak every week about Matlock and the way they.
And I mean, to be fair to Matlock, they've been hampered a little bit by fixtures because they had a week off last week, so they've been like rocketing up the league. But then in many ways, that might not do them the. It might do them the world of good because it keeps them below the radar a little bit. Because that's the thing. I think Scarborough got to the point where everyone's thinking, and obviously then they've lost. We just started talking about Scarborough running away with it, and then they've lost. Yeah. So I think if you can sort of try and keep a bit of a low profile, it suits more certain teams.
I think Warrington can. I think they can keep that low profile because I don't think anyone's really talking about them outside of the club. I mean, everyone sort of talks about Scarborough, South Shields, Baseford, and teams like that, but no one seems to be talking about Warrington, do they? And
I mean, Dave, the Hyde assistant manager who I know from having worked with him many years ago, he was saying Warrington by far, when Warrington played at Hyde, he thought Warrington was by far the best team that they've played, and I think I'm not sure. Like I say, I think that obviously Scarborough and South Shields, whatever, and Baseford been getting headlines, and I mean Warrington have to the same extent, but maybe the little blip that Warrington have had has sort of knocked them back out of everyone's conscience a little bit, which which isn't, I don't think, a bad thing.
I don't think it is either. I think they'll be happy to stay under the radar, but I think the result on Saturday, I think is a big one because for confidence more than anything, because if that had gone the same way as the Baseford game, the rot sets in a bit more of not making the most of your chances, more points dropped at home, etc. But that goal going in, and that when you saw, by the way the players celebrated the goal, how much it meant to him and how much the way it meant to him, and I'm really chuffed for Jake Kirby as well for getting his goal, because he puts 110% in every single week. And talking to Cards after the game, he said he's in training whenever he hits a shot, he takes the net off. But I think he actually said he just needs to scuff one in off his knee and then watch him go. But it was a fine strike, and it would seem a shame if he was to go back. I mean, I know his loan spells up after the game on Saturday, and it would seem a shame if he was to go back now, because hopefully that goal will be the start of him clicking into gear, but hopefully not for Stockport or someone else.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously that's always a problem when you're sort of relying a little bit on loan players, especially because I don't know. Obviously, there's always question marks over Dylan. Whether he seems to be in pretty good form. I thought, but obviously, for whatever reason, he's not played last couple. You got Dominic Reid, who's obviously had that injury, but hadn't really done anything in he'd not really been given. I think he played all right at Whitby. You know, I think he started, but he's not really had a chance to settle in. And like I say, it's almost took Kirby this long to sort of settle into the team and figure out what's going on. And yeah, it'd be a shame for him to go back, as well as obviously cause an headache in terms of, well, he'd have to find another body from somewhere.
Yeah. Would you stick or twist with Kirby in terms of if the option was there to keep him?
I think I'd just keep him. I think. As has been said, it's hard to identify players and strikers because clubs are reluctant to let them go. And then also, you know, he's been around for what, 4, 5, 6 weeks, so you know he's got to know the players and cards and stuff. And like I say, you know, coming off the back of last week's game, it's like he's settling in. And you know, do you want to have to then restart that process with somebody else? Because you know, you've got a busy Christmas period coming up. I suppose that at the moment we believe Warrington are going to have a week off on the 15th of December. Whether that actually plays to your advantage in terms of recruitment, because you can get extra time on the training pitch, because I know that was one of the issues at the start of the season, playing Saturday, Tuesday. The lack of training was affected. But
I think another player who's in a similar boat to Kirby in terms of his loan deal running out after Saturday's game is Charlie Albinson, the goalkeeper. I think he's grown into the team over the last few weeks, and I think, well, whenever I've seen him play, I've certainly not seen anything wrong. I was really impressed with him at Grantham. I thought his distribution was really good, and I've continued to be impressed with that sort of aspect of his game. And I don't think I've seen him concede a goal where he could do too much. I mean, the goal on Saturday I don't know if it's got a deflection, the free kick or not, but it's very well placed, and I don't think there was a great deal he could do about it. But even, you know, if there were doubts about him, logistically, I think it's important to keep hold of him, because, you know, what do you do goalkeeper wise if he does have to go back?
You're in the same boat. It's the same thing, isn't it, really, that if you get someone new, you've got to bed them in, you know, and get them used to the players. I mean, I think in some ways I think a goalkeeper's goalkeeper, but I feel like he's a bit wobbly on crosses and set pieces and stuff, and I think we talked about he's very like punch first type goalkeeper. And I think we've seen a few sort of hairy moments off the back of that, but yeah, generally when he's had to make a save, he's made a save. And like we said, I mean, Warrington don't give up that many chances, so
no,
you know, it's like, you know, in some ways it's, you know, does it matter a great deal who the goalkeeper is? But then at the same time, I think you'd be better off keeping him and just trying to keep settled. I mean, that's one of the things I suppose one of the downsides of non-league football is the high player turnover. So the longer you can keep a group together, I always think
I agree.
Is better.
Obviously, it depends on whether Blackburn, his parent club, want to play ball or not. But if they don't and they suddenly turn around, I think all the noises coming out of the club sort of seem to intimate that it will be extended for at least another month. But if Blackburn suddenly turn around and say, you know, we want him back, all of a sudden they're on the clock then, aren't they? Because they've got a week extension to get the goalkeeper in. And it's,
well, I mean, it's unfortunate, I suppose, that it's unfortunate that they've got, you know, we talk about the week off. It's unfortunate these long ones out this Saturday, not next Saturday, because then you'd have like a fortnight window to sort it out. So, you know, at worst, you're probably going to be looking at on the 8th, they may not have a keeper if he doesn't come in, but you know, I know Toby's registered, so he cannot.
I'm happy to put the gloves on as well.
Toby's actually registered though. You see, so he could play anytime. So.
He is.
But I mean, Marine actually have got so you know, look at Saturday's game at Marine. Marine aren't doing particularly well in the league. They've got a loanee keeper, Paddy Wharton from Tranmere, who I presume Cards is probably aware of. He's been at Stalybridge on loan earlier in the season, so it'll be interesting to see, you know, what he's like. But like I say, well, I suppose it's another must-win. I mean, I'd call every game a must-win, but you know, I think you just want to try and get a run going again, don't you? Because you know, you look at the form table and the form guide of the league, and Warrington have been mid-table for a good few weeks now, so you just want to try and get a bit of a run going.
If you look at the fixtures that are coming up, obviously Marine on Saturday, and then after that they're at home to North Ferriby, so that's two of the bottom three that they're playing in the next 2 games. If you can get 6 points out of them, which you sort of feel has got to be imperative for a side in Warrington's position, all of a sudden you're going into sort of the pre-Christmas period and into the Christmas period on the back of 3 wins in a row, and it doesn't matter who they're against or whatever, or how they're retained or whatever. 3 wins in a row is 3 wins in a row, and it's gonna pick your morale up. It's gonna give you that little bit more belief. Marine, they seem to have a bit of a bounce under their new manager when he came in, but that seems to have fizzled out a bit. But they did, obviously they went 2-0 down to Nantwich, and when you're away at a top side and you go 2-0 down, the natural instinct might be to sort of not roll over as such, but it might become a little bit too much for them. But credit to them, they fought back and they were only eventually beaten by a last-minute goal. So there is a lot in there, and obviously we're familiar with quite a few of the Marine players, and that adds a different sort of strand to it as well, doesn't it? There's a lot of familiarity between the two squads.
I mean, it'd be the first. I mean, it's always been on a bank holiday Monday in August, like last few years. So it'd be interesting to go there in a different sort of climate, if you like. Like I say, I think if you can get 6 points in the next 2 games, you have the week off. It sets you up to, you've got 22nd, 26th, 29th, 1st. You've got 4 big games there. Yeah. You want to try and get, 9-10 points out of as well. So, like I say, I think last season actually, I mean, I can't really remember a great deal off the top of my head, but it felt like we sort of struggled before Christmas, and then I think we scored a late goal against Whitton to get a point, I think, on Boxing Day, and then went on the run after that for a long period. And so you can use this sort of period as a bit of a sprint. The reality is you're not going to go the whole season without having a bit of a blip, and it's like, Warrington has a little blip now.
Of course. I mean, if we look at each of the games individually, sort of 5, 6, 7 games up into the new year and either side of it. So Marine away, 3 points hopefully. North Ferriby at home, you've got to back them to be.
Yeah, I mean they've started picking up a little bit then, but like you say,
week off, which if you win three in a row, you could argue it comes at a bad time. But
then at the same time, it gives you can get a bit of rest, a bit of training, a bit of energy. And you're obviously happy. You're in a happy place because you've won 3 in a row, and that's almost a bit like what I thought Matlock would be in. Like last weekend, it's a bit like, well, okay, you can sit there and reflect on what you've achieved, and then rest yourselves, and then carry it on.
Yeah. After that, Buxton at home on the 22nd. It's a tough game. Liam Hardy always seems to score against Warrington.
Well, I've seen Buxton away from home. Buxton have won 1, drawn 6, lost 2. So. Clearly they're setting up. They're setting up to get a point, I think, away from home by
Then the short trip, Whitton, Boxing Day. Again, it's a derby game. You can never. The phone goes out the window, really, doesn't it? And
it depends on what people have had for Christmas dinner.
Well, yeah, that's true. And then it's something that's been bubbling for the last couple of weeks, but confirmed today that Baseford away on the 29th of December. Obviously one that a lot of fans will be trying to jig things around to go to now. It's an extra helping of festive football for you. It's I'm not quite sure what to think about the sort of decision to play this game on the 29th, because I think it's not one that was planned for. It's not a designated fit.
I think looking at, I mean, I've seen the fixtures come through today, and I think it's to do with moving a Gainsborough. It's something to do with accommodating an extra Gainsborough game against someone. So obviously, Gainsborough are going to play Gainsborough are going to play Warrington. I think on the date that Warrington were going to play Baseford.
Right. Okay.
Obviously, Baseford are going to play Warrington, and then Gainsborough are playing, I think, Buxton or someone on the 15th.
Yeah.
So obviously, I mean, it's tricky to work out the fixtures. I mean, to be honest, I don't really see why there wasn't. I think the club's asked for it at the start of the season, but to me, I don't see what the Saturday between Christmas and New Year. Why wouldn't you want to play? I mean, if you're going to ditch a game, you'd surely ditch the New Year's Day game or the Boxing Day game. Surely, if you were gonna, do you know what I mean? If you're gonna ditch a game in that period, surely the logical one to ditch would be either Boxing Day or New Year's Day.
Yeah, and then after that, obviously New Year's Day at Hunter Bamber Bridge. So you've got a run of 5-6 games there that you want.
You want to get.
Do you want to be getting at least sort of 12?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
12, 13, 14 points from.
Especially if you want to win the league.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, if you want to win the league, you've got to be looking at winning probably 5 of the 6.
Yeah, I think so.
Being realistic.
I think so.
Winning 4 out of 6 is probably a good
decent
result.
return.
It's a decent return. But, it's just at the moment it'll be interesting to see what happens after Christmas, whether anyone does grab the ball by the horns and goes on a run and pulls off into the distance. But we'll see. We will see,
and then after that, obviously, it's 2 tough away games: away at Farsley and away at Scarborough.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I think if you get the 5 out of 6 wins, you can almost look at them 2 games and think, right, we're on a good road. But it's not the end. I mean, obviously you don't want to get beat, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
If you don't get beat,
you can go there with almost no fear.
They're both away then too.
Both away, yeah.
So it's like you go there and you think, well, if we can get a point at both of those, then actually be quite happy. Whereas if you win 2 or 3 of the next 6, all of a sudden you go into Scarborough and Farsley thinking we're gonna have to beat these to keep up the pace.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's a lot of football that'll happen between now and then. You don't know who's going to drop points, but certainly Farsley and Scarborough look like probably the 2 teams that probably most likely to march on. I think
so. They seem equipped, sort of squad wise and financially, if nothing else. But just sort of, if you can hang on to their coattails for the next few weeks or so, and then sort of make a concerted push in the new year, because there's no cup football to worry about.
I think the Farsley are still in the trophy, aren't they? So they're playing Telford actually away in the FA Trophy. So they'll have the distraction of that. In some ways, you sort of hope, well, good if they got a replay and then won the replay, and then they're getting hammered a little bit more. But you see what goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other business?
No, I think that's it for us for another week.
Yeah.
We weren't planning to do these weekly, but we seem to have got into the habit now. So
we're enjoying them. We're giving the people what they want. we're getting some good feedback from you guys. So thanks very much for all your comments so far, good, bad, and indifferent.
Yeah.
Keep them coming in. As long as you keep enjoying them, we'll keep doing them.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave your comments, put your likes, share on Facebook, Twitter, etc. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.